It's 2:45. There's no one in the place except you and me. Make it one for my baby, one more for the road.
I had your job once. I was good at it.
I know.
What do you want?
I want to ask you some questions.
Welcome to Kermode Uncut. Blade Runner 2049 opens in the UK on Thursday. I saw the film last week and I'll be reviewing it in full on the Radio 5 live show I do with Simon Mayo at 2 o'clock on Friday. I just wanted to say something about Blade Runner beforehand. Don't worry, I'm not going to give away any plot spoilers about Blade Runner 2049. We're all being very, very careful about not giving away any of the film's secrets in advance because I know people want to see it basically without sort of prior knowledge. However, some time ago, I made a documentary about Blade Runner called On the Edge of Blade Runner. And in that documentary, Ridley Scott said very, very clearly that as far as he was concerned, Deckard, the character played by Harrison Ford, is a replicant. I think it was the first time Ridley had actually properly confirmed it in public. But it's always been a very controversial point. Harrison Ford never thought that Deckard was a replicant. I remember interviewing Rutger Hauer, who said, I just think that was an after-the-fact thought that they had later on. So recently I did an onstage with Ridley Scott, director of Blade Runner, and Denis Villeneuve, director of Blade Runner 2049. They were doing an IMAX presentation of Blade Runner and then a few scenes from the new film, Blade Runner 2049, which audiences were very excited to see. And before the film, and this was before I'd seen Blade Runner 2049, I was asking Ridley Scott to confirm whether or not he thought Deckard was an android. And Ridley Scott said, as he's always said, he is an android, and if he isn't an android, the film doesn't make any sense at all. He went on to talk about the unicorn and the dream of the unicorn. Now, the whole idea of the film is actually the central twist, that Deckard doesn't realise that he is what he is chasing. And then Denis Villeneuve, who's just made Blade Runner 2049, said, well, I don't think it's that clear at all. And Ridley Scott said, well, it absolutely is clear. I mean, I made the film and I know that's the whole point. The whole point is that Deckard is an android. And Denis Villeneuve said, I'm not sure that's the case. I think it's much more ambivalent than that. And I loved this. I loved the idea that you had on stage the guy that directed Blade Runner, the guy that directed Blade Runner 2049, and still, all these years later, they were able to have an argument about the central theme of Blade Runner. I don't want anyone to give away any plot spoilers about Blade Runner 2049 because I think it's a film that's best experienced without knowing lots of things about it. But what I can say is this. Years and years after Blade Runner opened, after various different recuts, the original version, the director's cut, the final cut, people are still arguing about what it means. I know everyone's worried about plot spoilers in advance, but isn't it great when you can make a movie which decades after it was first released, people can still argue about what did we actually see? What did he actually do? What was that character meant to be? What did it all mean?
The future of the species is finally unearthed.